I'm muted. Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. This is going to be one crazy episode. We are ending our decades, which are like decades long time capsule of movies. Boom, 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 boom. Started with the 80s. Thank God we didn't go 90s. 70s. Started with 80s, went to 90s, went to 2000s, ending here at the 2010s. And now we're going to end with my pick for this group 2010s, The Crazies. Let's take a look.
Would you mind taking a look at Bill?
Sure, what's wrong?
I don't know. He's just not right.
She worries too much. I'm fine.
Is he dead?
David, there's somebody outside.
Military started shooting town folk.
We gotta get out of here, guys!
That's right, The Crazies. This is a horror. It was a thriller. It was quite a few things, but we're going to talk about it. The Thursdays crew, myself, along with Vic, as well as Mike Knox. What's going on tonight, gents?
What's going
Chilling,
on?
man.
Kind of crazy out here in these streets.
In these streets, thank God we don't live in a small city, right? Because we live in a small city. I don't know if I would survive. One, as a black man. Two, just period. I don't know if I would survive. But here we are, and we're talking about The Crazies, a movie about a small town that was infected due to a government experiment. Of course, that's what they do. It turns everybody into some sort of, I'll say, semi-intelligent, semi-conscious zombies. And that's pretty much what happened. And it was a crazy movie all around. And I look at it from a fresh pair of eyes because I first saw this movie when it came out in 2010. I haven't seen it since, but I remember when seeing it, I actually enjoyed the movie. But am I going to enjoy it from 2020? Because even though it feels like it was just yesterday, it was 14 years ago. Right? This movie barely made the 2010s. Actually, it came out in February 2010. So, fresh pair of eyes, 14 years ago. Let's talk about it. We'll start with you, Vic, since you're right here wearing that nice fresh shirt. What is going on with this movie? What were your overall initial thoughts when it comes to this movie?
It's fun. Why do I say that? Because from the very beginning, it's just like, what the hell is going on? The old guy runs into the field while there's a baseball game, and all of a sudden, eventually gets popped in the head. What's going on here? And the thing is that it doesn't take long for things to escalate. There's some movies that are like this that, like first you got to watch an hour of the town. But no, right from the beginning, they just came with the stuffs. So, the whole roller coaster ride of this movie so far is pretty good. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah, to start off the way it did at the baseball game, had an 80s feel to it, like the uniforms and the costumes they were wearing. This, like you said, small town, and somewhere probably in middle America. You know what I mean? Something like that. They're not used to these kind of things where the government, like I was saying, like where the government would pick on, and no one's gonna miss. If you look at it, they showed the population was like 1,200 people. Like, yeah, we can kill them. Nobody will know. Nobody will care, right? And like I said, he's coming across the field, and he got that shotgun. And I like how you explained it there, executive consultant, about what were they, right? When I saw the trailer, I knew we were going to do this movie. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to watch a zombie movie. Okay, a different one. No, it's not exactly, but is it a zombie? I thought I was watching a Michael Jackson Thriller for a moment here. That I just, look at me, bitch! I did it. Look at me. Look at me. That whole scene that he did to get the one crazed lady to turn her attention off of his wife, which is, so that part's a little confusing. But hey, I watched The Walking Dead for like 15 years. Next thing I know, the whisper started whispering. So anything is possible when you're the one writing the movie. So I thought it was a good start to a movie. Good start, at least.
Let me tell you something. One of the things I like about this movie is the fact that it doesn't have, to me, low points. There's always something going on every single time. And for somebody, just like the two of you, especially Mr. I Love New York up there, who grew up in such big cities, it's hard to fathom one doctor pretty much covering an entire town, one sheriff pretty much covering the entire town with his deputy. Shout out to the deputy. When you watch some of these movies, depending on how crazy they are, you try to put yourself in the situation of what you would do in a situation like this. It's hard to fathom because, as somebody said earlier, I believe it was Wick, things are just happening so fast. When this is happening, I see some crazy ass dude is in the middle of a baseball stadium, and I think it was a little bit of a shout out to the original one that came out, I believe, in 1978. That's when they had that scene.
Something like that, yeah.
And just constantly, just something moving. Remember, all that's happened in the span of 48 hours, right? They showed you the after effect of the movie. I mean, the beginning of the movie, and then you saw what led up to it. I mean, there's some scary stuff. And these people were like zombies, but they were, I say, semi-intelligent. They were conscious. You know, you saw the scene where the parent, I mean, not the parents, but the wife and the spouse and the child of the gentleman who was killed at the beginning, you know, went after the sheriff who killed their the husband and the father. They said this is the same gun, right? And so it's not like they were even attacking themselves because those two were a team to try to kill everybody. These people were crazy because all they were thinking about was, I'm killing them. You knew this movie was going to be deep, and you knew this movie was going to be real when that one crazy locked his wife and son in the bathroom and set the entire house on fire, and then looked like what? That's it.
I mean, there's no other way to describe it but crazy.
Yeah. Right. There's nothing about their mental state. They weren't going around saying doing Joker things like, hey, I just want to watch the world burn. They were just like, this is it. The guy came into a hospital setting, a trauma unit, with a pitchfork and just started randomly stabbing people for the fun of it.
Well, that's once the government got them all together, and they were sitting there strapped. If you had a fever, you were affected. So
I never understood that. Mm-hmm. That's a con in the movie for me. I never understood why they did that.
What part?
Why did they get everybody together? You had a fever, you separated them.
Because that was I'm assuming that's what they thought was the signs of whatever that was going on. If they wasn't normal temperature, you're good. Not normal temperature, like COVID, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. This is where you are. So they started, they started separating them and doing that. I was wondering when the officer, the soldier, took his mask off. Did he take that back and get them all infected? Because the thing was, the government said, if you breathe this air in this city, you're infected. So I wonder how that took place. Even them two walking off the end, how could they purposely, possibly be healed in all of this, and save it?
My question with that though is, in the end, they just killed everybody anyway, right? That's what I said. If y'all just go to, even before the atom bomb, they incinerated everybody. They separated all the people they thought were not infected, and they shot them all and they burnt them. So if you're going to do that anyway, you should have bombed the whole city to begin with, as far as I'm concerned. It saved you the trouble. So I was a little confused by that. Why? But it was very Resident Evil type. I mean, a lot of these movies are zombie-like movies or zombie movies. They do this. The government goes in and they just purge, for lack of a better word, an entire city like that.
Tell you the truth, it makes me think that, the COVID situation could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Because the shit is that people were reacting to shit that they didn't know. Because I'll be honest, I remember in the very beginning when there was a ton of people dying here, and New York City was like a quarantine space. They even made T-shirts. It was like, I survived COVID in New York City. You know what I mean? Until it just started spreading out all over the place. Now it's still around, but it's not major news anymore. So, in a situation like that, it just reminded me a lot of just how people were reacting, and how this whole thing was dealt with, because this is similar. Because it's a respiratory disease. It's something that's in the air. If you breathe it in, all of a sudden you're crazy. You know what I mean? So they're just checking everybody. They don't know what's going on. It's just like COVID. You gotta take a bath in hand sanitizer, and you have to wear the mask at all times, and you have to cover your ears too, because if you don't, there's air in your ears that's gonna come out and affect everybody. You know what I mean? And you can't sneeze, because if you sneeze, oh my God, your hair's gonna fall out. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of ridiculousness. And this movie definitely got into that.
The amazing things is, this was back in 2010, so you had no idea what was coming.
Facts.
But when the pandemic happens, even as a joke, a lot of people thought, "Hey, is this what's really about to go on?" And there were signs. Vic just touched on it a lot. There were a lot of signs of this during the pandemic. You could not go out and sneeze without somebody looking at you like maybe you should get shot in the head because you must have it.
Facts.
The pandemic said, "Give me my 6 feet." I'm in the store the other week getting some gas, and the dude literally is on my neck. I'm turning around like, dude, did you not learn anything from COVID? Did you not learn anything from the movie The Crazies? Back the fuck up and give me some space. I don't want to get sick and get your cooties on me. And this movie was full of cooties and a lot of murders, a lot of everything. When the car wash scene, when the zombies are on the car but the one zombie is smart enough to make a choke and pull the chick out the car. The best thing about this car, first of all, can I just give some praises to Becca, please? My girl from The Flash, who played Emma Frost in this movie. I had never seen Danielle Penn Baker in anything other than Flash until I saw that. I was like, hey, all right, what's going on? I thought that's pretty cool.
You know what? I just watched this movie and I still didn't know that was her. That was her. I did not recognize her. I don't know why I didn't recognize her. Normally I would.
That's hilarious.
I definitely did not recognize her. So she did a good job. I also want to give a shout out to I don't know the actor's name, but I'll call him the deputy.
He was good.
Yeah.
Joe Anderson.
He came with the smoke.
Mr. Russell.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a I have a new thing for I don't know if you watched Tuesday's episode, but I have a new thing for this guy here. I don't use him anymore. And instead, I just use. And at the beginning of the movie, I thought he was, but he wasn't anymore when he got sick. Right? And then he became like, I don't give two Fs.
He became Shane from The Walking Dead.
I don't even watch that series, and I know what that series. I mean, what that represents. Yeah.
They always say if Shane was around when Rick and them got to the governor would have been dead because Shane would have been playing, and that's what that's what Russell was doing. Russell's ready to, I'm gonna put a gun in you, even when he went out. You know what I mean? AKA like my girl Cleo from Set It Off. Dude, what are you doing? It's nothing but army people there. You got a handgun. He tries to lay on the ground. Lay on the ground. He sits there and tries to pull that little pistol, that little 9-shooter, and gets gun up. Take a break so we can find out what we think about this thing and all that kind of good stuff, because I just keep going. And honestly, this is one of the movies, Vic, you and I tend to like a lot of things. I'm still not sure if I liked it even as I'm talking about it.
As you talked and you're saying all that stuff, for you to sit here and say now that I'm not even sure if I like it. That's pretty incredible.
Just because the movie's crazy and has, insane parts that may entertain me. I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one that Netflix did, right? Because I like the murders in it, but I can't necessarily say it was a good movie.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think it hit home with me because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, just because of the way that people were behaving. But yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like just watching it, it's crazy the shit they was doing. Like how you put all this gas and burn up your wife and kid and lock them, put them in the closet and shit, like you playing hide and seek, and then burn up the house. What kind of shit is that? That shit is crazy.
It's funny because that seems to be the theme of this movie. It was the title of this movie. They did a very good job. It was one of the I don't know what they were calling, but one I'll say the purgers was caught, and then when they released him, his buddy said, "Hey, any crazies back there?" Right? Yes. And I was like, "That's a good nod, man. That's a good nod. Any crazies back there?"
It was funny.
Oh, and I wanted to go back and say my point, and then we'll take a commercial break so we can find out what we're reviewing next Tuesday as well as next Thursday. But I did like, how can I put this? I did like the guy. What's the deputy's name? Russell. I did like him. After he got punched in the mouth, realized, oh shit, I am not right. I am sick. That's like it's kind of like this. It's kind of like, oh, I'm a drunk. I do, and everybody's saying you're drunk. You're drunk. Oh, I'm not drunk. I'm not drunk. And if something happens, it is a wake up call. Like, oh shit, I'm pretty effed up. Right? That's how he felt. But he said, "Can I walk with y'all?" And that was actually one of the saddest moments of the movie. He said, "Can I walk with y'all? Because I know what's coming up next. And I know there's nothing I can do to survive it. But can I walk with y'all? Because I just pretty much he was just saying I don't want to die alone." And I thought that was
I mean, and you know what? That's another thing, because people that live in small towns value community. They very, very much value community, and the people in the community they have a very intimate relationship with the people of the community. Like, and what do I mean? The high school football team is everything. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. So I think that they expressed that very well, because they were talking about, like, listen, everybody that we know just died. Everybody we know. It was sad. But I think that they depicted that very well, because if that kind of thing happened in an urban area, we'd see more drama. Right. But I think that at the end, they kind of just tried to gear to that, because now they're headed towards a population that's much higher. It started at 1,200. Now you're going to a population of 128,000 people. You know, in a lot of places in this country, that's a big city. So,
yeah, when they went to it wasn't Grand Rapids. It was
like Boise, Idaho, something like
that. No, it was. Oh, I forgot. I'll figure it out. It wasn't Grand Rapids. It was something Rapids. It was Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's what they went. Population of 108,000. So they went and added pretty much 100,000 people, and they said contamination, which means bye, bitch. Matter of fact, I need to get the Seth Rollins thing on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a commercial break. Find out what we're reviewing next Tuesday and Thursday. Stay with us. You're watching a popular review.
All's fair in love and basketball.
How about a little one-on-one?
What we playing for?
I score, you strip. Take it off. Take it off. Strip.
All's fair in love and basketball, baby.
I'll play you. One game, one-on-one.
For what?
Your heart.
My brother? I don't have a brother.
Of course, I'm an excellent driver.
You know how to drive?
Yeah.
Wait a minute! You never touch the steering wheel when I'm driving. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Of course, I don't have my underwear.
What? I like having you for my brother.
I'm an excellent driver.
Next Tuesday, we begin in the Tuesday movie reviews, the new month, which is romance movies.
Like a little romance movies.
And
that's your Tuesday thing?
Yeah. Next Tuesday for the month of March, we are doing romance movies.
That's because you're a little bitch and don't have no love movies. First of all, whoever picked Love and Basketball, I love Love and Basketball. I'm filling in for you on Tuesday for that. There's nothing romantic about that movie.
You're not filling in for me on Tuesday. You're joining us.
Fourth. Wow.
You're joining us on Tuesday. Right.
Wow.
I'm not Dice. All right. I watch it. That's what I signed on the dotted line for. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do Love and Basketball, even though I don't want to see it. And then, of course, next Thursday we do what was our theme for next month on Thursdays?
Oscar award-winning films.
Right, Oscar award-winning films. And you picked Rain Man, and I forgot what the other two. What did we pick? Stumped. Vic, do you remember what you picked? Nope.
Hey, yo.
Parasite.
You picked Parasite.
That horrible goddamn.
And I really have no idea what I picked.
The Oscar movie. Yeah, it was a wait. I mean, because
you picked the
you know why? Because Meta AI.
The Departed. Thank you. I love The Departed. So I got away with one. I was scared. I was like, oh, this might be it. I might not find a movie I like. I might have to pick up. It was the same thing with romance.
They're all Oscar nominees. Shouldn't they all be good movies?
No, Oscar-winning movies. And just because just because they were Oscar nominated doesn't mean they were being entertaining movies.
And even Oscar-winning movies don't mean they're good. No offense.
Yeah, to us.
You know what? I never even watched Parasite, so I just never had any interest. And it's why I love Unpopular Review Entertainment and why I think everybody should like, follow, and subscribe to Unpopular Entertainment, because we're not just doing the stuff that everyone likes, everyone talks about. Oh, we do that stuff too. But damn it, we got things behind ours. And even when our friends up there pick the movies like, I don't know, The Naked Gun or Police Academy, or somebody picks Harry Potter's magic wand up your ass, we're going to review it. So we're going to review Parasite.
I mean, hey, listen, you're right. I had an opinion about Star Wars until I saw them.
Well, let me also tell you that I struggle for romance movies. I looked it up and I found American Pie, and I said this is my pick. And Rashad said okay. Rashad said okay, but Jane said no. That's not a romance movie.
Hell no, that's not a damn.
Well, I looked it up and said romance, and then I said I'll go to IMDb, and if IMDb that says romance, I'm doing it. But it didn't say romance.
It didn't say. It said raunchy comedy.
So I did okay, Singing in the Ring. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and get into our final thoughts. Mike Knox, we'll start with you actually. So what is up? Final thoughts? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
I thought, I was a little tired today, so the movie didn't put me to sleep. I just had to take a little nap. So I went to sleep. I woke up. My wife had finished it. And I was kind of mad because she didn't stop it where I could pick up where I left off at, because she said, go to sleep already, so I could change the channel. And I woke up. She said, oh, that movie was crazy. So I wake up. I'm excited to finish where I left off. Before I went to sleep, I went to sleep on the barn scene right when the army got to town. So I knew exactly where I left off. I woke up, got finished on that part. And I was like, yo, this movie is crazy in the sense of the action and even the story as it's being told. Reason why I say I'm not sure if I like it or not is because I'm a creature of lore. So I had a problem with Endgame of how they want to try to explain time travel. Then that was Marvel's way of just doing what they wanted to do to erase certain things. You can't explain that story to me and make it make sense how Cap went back to live and then end up with Agent Carter. That would have threw off the entire timeline and everything I've ever learned about going back to the future. So watching this movie, they're supposed to be zombies, but they are intelligent enough to hear the names, know that was his son, know this, take orders, but just be randomly killing without reason. I had a hard time with that. But I would say I enjoyed it. I don't always say, you go to movies, you watch movies to see if you're enjoyed, if they're enjoyable to you. I was highly entertained by the action. So I couldn't just sit there and say, oh, because of it didn't make sense to me on certain parts of it, what they exactly did or didn't do in the movie as far as the storyline went overall. If you go see this movie, you know what you're going to see it for the Crazies. And they delivered on that 100% thumbs up for me for the Crazies. You should watch it. It's a crazy movie. I can't help but
You can't help but say that word. Yeah. One, because it's embedded into your brain because that's the name of the movie. But realistically speaking, it lived crazy up to the name. Vic, go ahead.
Well, no, like I was saying before, everything was more than anything, it was just a good time. There was no lag. You know what I mean? If for lack of a better phrase, there was no lag in this movie. You just knew, you were just wondering what the hell was going to happen next and who it was going to come from. One of the craziest scenes was the head saw scene where the guy almost got his nuts chopped off. That whole thing was crazy because that doctor that he was fighting, in the beginning of the movie, he was seen like, for lack of a better phrase, like the voice of reason, or the guy that everybody went to, I mean, he was just seen as somebody in high regard, and then all of a sudden, he just does all of these things. But the other thing that I found interesting was how the guy's doctor wife never got affected and ended up just walking off into the sunset. I found that interesting.
Well, they lived in the same household, and they said that it didn't affect them as much because the water supply didn't get them to last. And then the guy that they caught said that, hey, if you don't have it in 48 hours, you just didn't get it. So it's looking like those are the only two people, possibly because they murdered everybody else. That didn't happen.
And they didn't walk into the sunset. They walked off into an atomic bomb.
Facts. That's true.
And
Because
technically, they were walking into the way of Cedar Rapids, which is about to have the same issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they wanted to make a little bit more money off this movie. If they did, they would have made a sequel, but they didn't. I mean, it doubled its money. It was a short budget, of course, which you can tell.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, and it didn't even be a large budget for this movie. It did what it needed to do, but it only made $50 million off a $26 million budget. So you know, if you get over $100 million with a $26 million budget, normally you get a sequel. Back in the day, if you made over $100 million, you were guaranteed a sequel. Like you know, that's why Fast and Furious had all them sequels because you know when it first came out in 2000, I think 1 or 2, it made over $100 million, which is paltry now. But back then it was a little bit more rare, and that's why they had a sequel.
And a lot of overseasness too. So a lot of money for them too.
Correct. I'm sorry. Did you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I knew it. I just needed you to officially say it. All right. You know, Russell, I said I watched this back in 2010, and I didn't know if I was going to still enjoy it watching it in 2024's eyes. I can dare say that just because I seen it after the pandemic, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more because movies don't frighten me. I can't think of a movie that legitimately frightened me outside of maybe Silent Hill. But just because it hits so close to home, and I remember that pandemic era and everything it represented, it's not hard to fathom how easy something like this can happen due to some kind of infection. You know, during the pandemic era, not that we know of, nobody went as crazy as this.
That we know of.
But that we know of, because you don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact that we saw what people are capable of doing, how crazy they were. In Detroit, I literally saw people stop and prevent ambulances from going to hospitals simply because of the fact they were upset that they couldn't get their hair and nails done. That's how crazy America is.
Facts.
It's scary that the smallest thing, in the case of 48 hours or 24 hours, all that can happen. And I'll say that because even when the pandemic hit, you had little signs of COVID that people were being told about in the news and stuff like that. But realistically speaking, when that shit shut down, it happened like that. I had no anticipation of us shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
And working in the hotel industry, I can tell you, it sucked. One minute you're doing okay, next minute you're hearing Disney closed down. Let me tell you something. Disney is in Orlando. Orlando has hurricanes. Disney does not close down. Okay?
Facts.
Only COVID closed down Disney.
But for what it's worth, though, because I worked there at that time, we were only closed for like 10 days.
It was a little bit more.
No, I worked there. Disney was closed down for 14, but we were out for 10 days. They called us, and we were in there cleaning up.
Well, you know, I keep saying that COVID, for some people, a lot of people made a lot of money, and then a lot of people lost a lot of money. It was very few. It was very few in between.
To open up. Florida was the first state to open up. California being the last.
Yeah. Get some thumbs up for me. Long story short, and I'm going to wrap this up here because I got to go to work. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us. Join us on, is there a husband and wife show tomorrow?
Absolutely no, not tomorrow, but BMF is back at midnight. So we are starting with BMF next Wednesday night. Come join us, Black Mafia family, as we get into that. Also, we know that All American is coming back on as well as the Shy debuts again tomorrow as well. So we'll be doing a lot of things on Husband and Wife Review. So just check us out this coming Wednesday here on Pop Review Entertainment.
Also, not too long ago, this man over here to my left or right, we always say to my left or my right, and we don't know what angle it is depending on but this man, according to my left, just did what Season Superior, Lois and Superman and Lois, another episode. So check that out on UPRE. And I believe an Avatar episode is coming out sometime
tomorrow. It will be dropping tomorrow evening.
All right, so
7 p.m.
Look forward to that. Look forward to Love and Basketball next week. Also, look forward to The Rain Man, which is another movie I haven't seen before.
Not The Rain Man, just Rain Man.
Rain Man, never seen it before. Looking for it. I wonder which
Wapner.
I wonder which streaming platform that's on. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
It's free. I found it. That's why I picked it. I know we didn't have to pay for it like the Crazies.
Thank God. Yeah, they didn't pay for Crazies. All right, for Mike Knox, for Vic, I am the executive consultant. Thank you so much for watching us here tonight. And we will see you right here next time. on Unpopular Reviews. Good night, everybody.